Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Positive Negativity 2. Now, you can see Sleuth is still looking a little bit tired. The frown lines are firmly there. He's not clean shaven. He's only just recovering, I guess, from his fever from earlier. But he's keeping a positive attitude, or is it a negative attitude? We're not exactly sure. But that's essentially I'm going to say title, but it's also really the context and subject of today's puzzle. If you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about positive and negative numbers. We're going to be in for a bit of a difficult puzzle. It is 2-star difficulty rated after all. Something about 2-star difficulty rated puzzles, because we tend to do relatively few of them on the channel, we're kind of spoilt for choice. So when I was looking for a puzzle to solve right now, just to give you an idea, here is like the ratings as I'm glancing through the screen. 98%, 95%, 97%, So there's a phenomenal number of fantastic puzzles out there. Anything else I want to mention before we get on? Yeah, it's just, the Chinese Yin Yang symbol just reminds me of our time in China. And in a way, it kind of also reminds me of just how much fun we had, but at the same time, how much Mrs. Sleuth kind of initially gave up to actually get us there. Because really, we went there with my own job and career. She's the one that basically ended up having to give up quite a bit. She was, teaching at King's, she had her own practice, and back in the UK, we're just kind of having to rebuild all of that once again. So I have been helping her, and this is one of the reasons why I've not been pre-recording a ton, in rebuilding her clinic and academy's websites, etc., and hoping that her business will get back on track. Anyhow, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets. Positive Negativity 2 by the Bard. We've been playing quite a few of them from the Bard recently, and he's just an exceptional constructor. So, rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we have Yin and Yang. Could have guessed that from the thumbnail. Shade some cells so that all the shaded and unshaded cells form two orthogonally connected areas such that no 2x2 area is entirely shaded or unshaded. And all the digit values in the shaded area are negative. Ho, ho, ho. Right, Yin and Yang, quick reminder of what that is. Essentially, if you are shading, you can't have a 2x2, that's broken. So I'm going to use blue and red given we're talking about positive and negative. You have to create two orthogonally connected areas. So what I can't do, for example, is have red here, isolate that red by blue, and then somehow have red outside it over there. That doesn't work. These two red areas have to be connected. So something as follows. Again, no 2x2 area, so this would have to be positive. What else do I want to mention? There's a few tricks when it comes to yin and yang puzzles that it's worthwhile knowing, that I'm not going to reveal now, but as I start with the solve, I'll probably reference some of them. Right, so that's yin and yang. What it also said is all the digits values in the unshaded area are negative values. So imagine, for example, we're getting onto killer cages. So killer cages, the values in the cages add up to the total in the corner. So if these two were blue, as in positive, they have to add up to 3. So this would have to be a 2, this would have to be a 1, for example, so that they do add up to 3. In this case, I have something impossible to do now. These two cells have to add up to 16, except one is positive, one is negative. I've kind of revealed a bit too much there, as you can see. Kropki Dots, consecutive values, once again, between two cells are indicated by white dots, and not all dots are given. So I'm going to interpret this as, that I've already broken it here as well. So consecutive digits, if this was a 2, let me pick one, this is 2, this would have to be 1 or 3. But because it's about consecutive values, not just digits, they actually have to be the same color. Otherwise, that would be a 2, somehow consecutive with -3 or -1, which is impossible, as is the case here in the top. Interesting. Right, that's all the rules we have for today. So if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. So my plan of attack is I'm going to focus on cages that are very clearly positive. 23 in 3 cells, that can't be anything other than 6, 8, 9. 16 in 2 cells, as I demonstrated with my example earlier, sorry about that, can only be positive numbers. And yeah, you can see 16 now, because I've placed 6, 8, and 9. The next 3 available digits, 4, 5, and 7, it's forced. That is exactly 17. Right, so all of these, I'm going to start coloring now, all of these have to be positive. This cell has to be negative because can't have two orthogonally, no 2 by 2 areas that are entirely shaded or unshaded, so that is red. You can see that the 4 has to be one of each, otherwise we'll end up with a 2 by 2 area. You can see, there you go. Right, talking about tricks of yin and yang. I know that all of the following digits are blue, and this cell is red. And you're going to say, Sleuth, how on earth did you get that? The reason is, right, let's think about the 2. That can't be both positive, because that would require a double 1, which is impossible under normal Sudoku. So one of these cells is positive, one of these cells is negative. Now, because they're on the edge, that's quite consequential. Let me show you an example. If this is red and this is blue, whichever way you try and actually now complete this puzzle, you're going to end up isolating this red from this red. Because somehow these 2 areas have to be connected, and any way that you're going to achieve this, you're going to end up isolating them and creating like a split area between reds. Now, this is immensely helpful because I know that this is all the way blue. Now, to make sure that this cell is connected to this area, and this has to be red. And there's a difference of 2 between the 2. And this has to be red because it's a 2 by 2 area otherwise, and this has to be blue because we need to have a positive to actually add up to a positive value. This is 8 or 9, this is 1 or 2, a difference of 7, worthwhile pencil marking. This again has to be negative, this has to be positive, otherwise it would have been a 2 by 2 area, and this, did I actually color? I didn't. This has to be blue. Again, because you need to get to a positive number. I'm going to repeat myself a few times in this puzzle by the looks of things. These 2 cells, they have to be the same color. My options are blue, which is a 2 by 2 area, or red. It can only be red. Okay, this is starting to look like a fantastic puzzle. Right, so the 23 cage, I kind of stayed away from it for a while. Yeah, no, I shouldn't have. It is forced. And let me explain my logic here. Essentially, these can't all be positive, otherwise it will be a 2 by 2 area. So there has to be one negative in here. And the second that you place a negative, well, it's essentially a 1 negative and then a 7, 8, 9. They don't have to be in this location. In fact, they are definitely not in this location because these white Kropki dots are immensely helpful. Yeah. Right. And that's a 7, that's a 1, that's a 2, and these are 8, 9s. Same exact logic that we went through earlier around the edges and the white Kropki dots. So because I had 7, 8, 9 and a 1 in here, essentially the 7 was on one of the white Kropki dots. If this was 8, this would have to be 7 or 9, which is impossible because it's inside the cage. Same obviously for the 9, it would have had to add a neighbor of 8, and again the 8 is needed inside the 23 cage. So I knew immediately, let me just undo some of these, that one of these is a 7, one of these is a 1. Now I knew the direction because same exact logic. Let me reverse this for a second. Now I'm in trouble. How am I going to connect these two edges, this blue to the rest of these blues, or this red to the rest of these reds, without isolating one of the areas. So as a result, this is entirely forced. Hang on, no, don't do that. Sorry, for a second it looked like it was about to restart, which is definitely not what I was intending. This is not 6, that's an 8-9 pair in the column. This is blue. This can't be a 2x2 area, that's red. That can't be isolated, that's red. Don't know what this is. 7 gave me a 9, gave me a 7. 9 gave me an 8, gave me a 9. This 9 now is an 8. This is, none of these are 8s. Lovely, 6-9 pair. Actually, I haven't realized how restrictive this is, and it is. Because with 6, 8, and 9 gone, my options for placing a high positive digit with a difference of 3 is actually quite limited. So 7 with a 3, and then 5 with a 1. And it can't be a 1. There you go. That's 3, that's 7. Has that helped? It's just said that this is not a 3. So this is, the remainder of this box is 3, 4, 5, except that's not a 3. Okay. The 1, of course, gave me a 2, which in turn gave me a 9 in here. These are actually probably solvable because they're the same color. So, for example, I can't... That's a bad way to illustrate it. What I'm thinking essentially is because they're the same color, I obviously can't use... What am I trying to say? I'll come up with an example later that will be more useful than what I'm trying to do. This is clearly positive, so we can actually get to 3. Not sure why I missed that earlier. This is a minimum of 6. This is a minimum of 3. And actually that is a perfect fit. Because with this white Kropki dot, if I go any lower than 3, I'm going to be in the 1, 2 territory, and then it's going to break. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 6. Right, these two cells I think are solvable. So they're not 1, 2, 3. They can't be 4, 5. They could be 5, 6 or 6, 7. And they're not 8, and therefore they're not 9. In fact, 9s, that's 6, that's 9. Right, so I have to have an even digit on here. And it's not 2, and it's not 8. And it can't be the 4, because I can't do 4, 5 in here, and I can't do 4, 3. So there is a 6, that's not the cell, that's the cell. And this is 5 or 7, but it's not a 7, that's 5, that's 4, that's 7. Not 4s, 3, 5 pair. So I have 1, 2, and 4. So this is 1, 4, this is 1, 2, 4. I don't know if I want to pencil mark this. The 2 cage may be interesting. In fact, these two cells are probably interesting as well. Maybe. Let's move on. These are 1, 2, 3. They were there from the beginning. I just didn't do much with them. 8 cage with 1, 2, or 3. Right, so to get to 8, one possibility is that this is positive and this is negative, so 9 and 1. Regardless, this has to be positive. And the reason for that is this on its own is just nowhere near enough. And the 2x2 area does force it. This is a phenomenally constructed puzzle, Mr. Bard. Obviously, that couldn't be positive, and that immediately limited my options. So that's not 1, that's not 1. Yeah, the 1 cage is not very helpful. This is clearly blue, otherwise 2x2. This has to be blue, otherwise consecutive digits are positive and negative. These can't be blue, otherwise it's a 2x2 area, so these two are red. That can't be red, otherwise a 2x2, so that's blue. These two cells can be either. These can't be red. Come on, Sleuth, that was there for the taking like years ago. These have to be blue. Otherwise, I mean, we've got plenty of 2x2 areas now. So all of these are blue. Same challenge, that can't be blue, this has to be red. This has to be blue now, otherwise it's a 2x2. Clearly something is meant to help us color these. and I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, here is another kind of logic about yin and yang. You can never have like a checkerboard pattern. This cell can't be red. If you try and create this red, you're going to end up with the same challenge. How do you connect this cell and this cell without isolating essentially one arm of the blues? So this has to be blue. This is another 2x2 area. This is red. I think that's as far as I could take the colors right now. These are not red. Immediately colors some more when he says that. These have to be one of each. This is clearly one of each as well to get to 1. Otherwise it would be 0 and 1. Not allowed in today's puzzle. Right. How about some Sudoku, Sleuth? Yeah, how about some Sudoku, kind of to move us forward from here? Some Sudoku, let's have a think. Yeah, this is plenty of options. So this is 148. These are the remaining options in the column. That can't be a 1, otherwise that would be -1. Which actually is possible in today's puzzle. It's just, it's repeating the 1. No, if that's 1, that would have to be -3. No, what am I saying? We're adding numbers. If that was 1, that would be a bin. Anyhow, it's not 1. I don't know how I'm trying to explain this one. 8, 6, 4, 2. Not very helpful. 1 and 2, possible. 8 would go with a 7, possible. 4 would go with 3 or 5, possible. Right, move on. All right, this is probably interesting. So it's not 6, 7, 8, or 9. 1, 2, 3 is possible. 2, 3, 4 is possible. 3, 4, 5 is impossible because it would break this cell. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. So this is 2 or 3. We end up with a 2, 3 in the column. And if it's 1, 2, 3, well, that would be a 4. That would be a 5. If it's 2, 3, 4, that would be 5, and that would be 1. And it can't be a 4. Sleuth, there you go. That's 1. Therefore, that's 3. This is a 2, 4 pair. This is a 5. This is a 3. Actually, it hasn't given us color, surprisingly. Right, we need a 2 in here. This can't be this cell. It's down here with 5 and 8, I'm going to say. So this is 5 and 8. There's a 2 in here. These two cells, I'm very tempted with 9, 8. That does work. 1, 2 is not available. And then obviously 3, 4, 5 and 6 doesn't work. Or, yeah, 5 doesn't work because 4 and 6 are not available. 6 and 7 doesn't work. This is forced. That's 9 and 8. We need a 1. Can't be any of these cells. That's a 1. This is 5, 6, 7. Just to complete. That's an 8. This is 2, 5 now. That wasn't a 7, again, ages ago. Or a 4. That was just a 5 for the taking, if I paid attention. These two cells, oh, even better. Take a look at column 8. We have all of these odd digits looking at this cell. So my options are 1 and 2, 2 or 3, and a 4 blocks all the rest. You always have to have a negative, sorry, an odd digit and an odd digit and an even digit when it comes to white Kropki dots. 5, 7, and 9 being gone means that this is either 1 or 3. And if it's 1, it'll be partnering with a 2, which would be forced in here, and that would be the 1. If it's 3, because I don't have 4 available in the column, that would be the 3, that would be 2. This is always 2. Same logic here, potentially even more powerful. So this is either a 1, this is 1, 2, isn't it? Yeah, because essentially it sees 3, 7, and 9, and 5 in the box. I was just actually checking the column doesn't obviously see both cells, so that could have been the odd digit, but it can't be 5, 9, 7, or 3. That means that this is a 1, 2 pair. The 2 in here tells me 2, 1, 3. Lovely. 6 and 8. 8 and 6, not possible anymore. That's 4, that's 2, that's 1, that's 8. That can't be a 9, that's 7. That is 7, that is not 7. So in here, essentially, I have 5, 6, and, well, no, I don't have that. 2. So there's another 5, 6. And what is the other digit? 3. 3 places a 3. This is 5, 6. There's a bunch of options here. It's not 7, so it's 4, 5, 6. Two in here gave me a 3, which also gave me a 5, which gave me a 2. So I'm jumping around. 3, 2, 7, 5, 6. No. I was just taking a look at that one cage. There's really only 2 variant clues we haven't used. So I was just thinking the one clue really doesn't look that useful. Right. Yeah, and it's not that useful until I color, which I can. Well, I can color this one because I'm not creating a 2 by 2 area. This has to be blue now. This is another not 2 by 2 area. That's red. You see, this red area has to escape, so there has to be a red in one of these 2 cells. You see, the reason I want to color this one is, I wanted to say 9 and 8 are not possible, but the answer is yes, it is. I could put 9 and I put 8. So until I color, I know which one is the higher digit. It's not that easy necessarily. 9, 8, and 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2. So it is fairly restricted, and a 2 and a 7. Right, we'll move on. We'll come back to this. Still don't know what this is. I do know what this is. Yeah, I do know what this is. So first off, this cell here can't be isolated. That's red. This area, well, it can't be isolated on its own either. That's red. Not that it helped with the solve at all. Like minor distraction. These can't be red. Otherwise, it'll be a 2 by 2 area. So this is blue. Right, so it's not 1, 2, 3. And it's not 4 because 3 and 5 are not available. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. And the 9 is quite restricted, and the 6 is restricted. Interesting. So 6 was 7. 7, 8 works in both directions, and 9 with 8 works as well. I need a 2, which can only go in here now, and a 4, which can only be there. These 3 digits are 1, 5, 1, 3, 5. Yeah, there's a definite 5 in here. It's either 4, 5, or 5, 6. So that's not 5, that's not 3, that's 1. And this is 3, 5 pair. Not resolved. Definite 5. Okay, this surely has to be a bit more interesting now. Right, the 9, 8 option I cannot discount, unfortunately. Still. This is red. Otherwise it's a 2 by 2 area. I'm missing something. What are these cells? I need a 4. Could be either of them. Then essentially one of. So this is either 7, 8, 9. Essentially, what is the even digit that's here? It's either 6, 7, and this would be 8. And then I'll be left with 4 and 9. And it'll be 9 and 4 as such, because that's not a 9. Or it's an 8 and a 6. So 6, 7, 8 is still possible, or 6, 7, 8 is still possible. If this is 8, I could still have a partner with a 7 or a 9. If it's 8, 9, that's 6. I have 7 and 4. Yeah, this is not helpful. Not helpful. It's back to this one cage. Yeah, that's blue. Can't do checkerboards. Remember this red I mentioned a while ago can't be isolated. So this is red. It has to connect to something else. This is red. Has to connect to this area. Otherwise it's isolated. This is red. This is blue. Lovely. 9, 8 now is definitely discounted. And in fact, 6, 7, 8, none of these can be in this cell. 5 can't belong in this group. We've already established. So this is actually very restricted now. I think this is the only viable option. Because if that's 4, that would be 5, which it can't be. And it can't be 5, and it's not 6, 7, 8, and it has to be the smaller digit, which is why 9 is discounted from there. So 4 and 3 works, and then the 3 in here and the 2 and 1 tells me that's the maximum. Sorry, that's the minimum for the positive digits. That's 4, that's 3, that's not 4. That's a 5, 6 pair. This is 7, 8. 8 in here gives me 8, gives me 7. That is no longer an 8. So this is the odd digit. This is the even digit. So we have a 6, 8 pair, not particularly helpful. 8 in here gave me a 6 though, and an 8, and a 6, and a 7, and a 4, and a 7. And this is indeed 4, 9. That's not the 9, that's 4, that's 9. That means that this is 6. I need a 3. No, I don't need a 3. I have everything except 5 and 8. Not resolved. 5, 6 pair in a column, that's 7. This is not 6 or 7, that's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 6, that's 5. Sleuth, come on, what's going on here? How can I make kind of the finishing touches of this game look so incredibly difficult? 6, not 6. Right, so this is 5, 7, or 8. It's not 7, it's 5 or 8. Let's try that again. 5, 8 pair gives me a 7. What's going on, Sleuth? Seriously. 7, remove the 7. I think it's just the colors. You know, it's hard to see blue on red. It's hard to see blue on blue as well, let's be fair. So this is 5, 6, or 8. It's not 5 or 6, it's just 8. 5, 6. I did say, hang on. What am I doing? What am I doing? This is 5, 8. That's not a 6 or 7. That is a 5. That's an 8. That's a 5. That's 6. That's 7. That's 5. That's 6. That's 9. Dear, oh dear. 1 and... Actually, that 3 gave me 5 and a 3. I'll do the easy stuff right now because clearly I can't see. 1 and 8. That can't be the 8. That's the 8. That's the 1. 1, 2, 3. We need a 4, which can only be here. I need a 1, which can only be there. I need 5 and 9. That's not the 5. Sorry, that's not the 9. That's 5. If I've not made any other ridiculous mistakes, that's the 9 for the finish. Phenomenal puzzle, the Bard. Phenomenal puzzle. Absolutely worthwhile, this incredible rating. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and video. And then the shenanigans in the last couple of minutes there. I mean, yeah. Less said about it, the better. Hope to see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.